Hi everybody, Russ and my Hammers 11. Hope you're all safe and well. If you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing, hitting that bell icon. I'm not bothering with that. We've got Julian Dicks on the channel. I'm not going to do all that stuff. Anyway, as always, I'd like to thank our channel sponsors, Untuck It. So, you can see we've got, I don't know how really introduce Julian, to be honest. You all know who he is. Hammer of the Year 4 years, 4 times. What have we got here? 326 games, I think, in total.
Yeah,
and if I'm right, all starts. You never came off the bench in the first
No,
team.
I was never a sub, no.
Mental. I think you only subbed 4 times as well that time. 65 goals. West Ham ladies manager, obviously first team coach. More importantly, one of my Hammers 11. There we go. It's like my Panini book. So I've done Trevor Sinclair. You've got you now. But not just me. I think over 50% of West Ham fans we've interviewed. We had over 250 fans we've interviewed, and ex-players all together have picked Julian in their team. So I think you're the top. You and Paolo. It depends who we are. So that ain't too bad. That ain't too shabby. How are we, Mr. Dicks? How are you?
I'm very well, thank you.
How's everything? How is it sort of readjusting now? Because obviously, without the West Brom job, but obviously with the baby as well. God, it must be.
Yeah, the thing is you don't have to readjust. It's football. It happens. It's not nice when it happens, but it happens, and it's always going to happen to majority of managers. You look at Mourinho get sacked. I think the only one I can think of really didn't get the sack was Sir Alex Ferguson.
Yeah,
so it is a part of football, and like I said, it's not nice when it happens, but it happens, and you just have to adapt to it. At the moment, I'm back in Birmingham, just clearing out my house that I rented. So it is a part of football.
Yeah, and it must be, but also in a personal sense, obviously with the baby, you're not going to get that time back, are you? Watching her grow up at such an early age. So
no, you're not. She's 4.5 months now, and that's gone by so quick. But the thing is, I've got girls of 32. I've got twin girls of 32 years old. So I'm starting all over again. But it is. Don't get me wrong. Listen, it's hard work. Anybody who's got a baby, they know it's hard work, especially at night. But it's good fun. It's good fun.
It is. As you said, you got all that over again, and bless you. I know. It's as I said, we probably started. Obviously, my one, she's 8, and she's homeschooling at the moment, so it's a different type of pressure at the moment, trying to juggle work and being a teacher. Most respects teachers, they're awesome. But and for those of us who are West Ham fans, West Ham are doing all right at the moment. So
they're doing well. Yeah, they are doing well. So and like I said, he's got some good players there. There's no reason why they shouldn't be in the top half of the table. No reason at all. Not with the players they've got.
No, exactly. And we beat Stockport for the first time since 1958, whether it was as well. I've
done an interview the other day. I remember we played them in the cup. I scored, and Ian Dowie scored an goal. We got knocked out, but it's good that they beat them the other night.
I had this vision of Ian sitting down, relaxing for a glass of wine when that draw happened, and going, West Ham, Stockport, West Ham, he just lived it down, didn't it? It all sort of came up again, but no, he's a top man, old Dowie. But it's good. And I think it's typical, isn't it? West Ham, we seem to get the team have got a tune together, and there's no buggers in the stadium.
That's it's obviously when we're at West Brom, it's not a nice feeling, especially like for a coach and the manager. It's not really. It don't really cause that much of a problem, but when you're a player, you like running out in front of your supporters and your fans, and even the away fans you like running out in front of, because it gives you a buzz. But there's nothing there, and it's just like playing a game, obviously a game behind closed doors, which we've done many times at West Ham, like friendlies and things like that. And it's like I said, they're sadly missed, the supporters, sadly missed.
Yeah, it is. It's like and even more so, I think, because obviously at Hawthorns it's a tight ground, isn't it? Whereas even at London Stadium it's a bowl, isn't it? And so it's even more seems like this cavernous. It's a very strange feeling at the moment being there.
It is.
But hopefully next season. I've written this season off from a fan's perspective. I think everyone has, to be honest, and it depends how quickly the vaccine comes on. But anyway, we don't talk about Corona on here. We talk about West Ham. What we like to do, Julian, is we'll go back and sort of retrospective look at the West Ham playing career. We'll talk a little bit about coaching stuff as well, because that was such a, particularly last season, the bowling was incredible. Right at the beginning, because obviously a lot of people will know you from, we have experienced and non-experienced fans, viewers on the channel, the old buggers and the youngsters as well. So and you sort of, you descend a few generations in terms of when you played. So obviously it was 1988 you signed from Birmingham. How did that happen? How did the transfer happen? What was the story?
Well, I was at Birmingham, and we were struggling at the time, and it was a time where you had to sell players to keep the club afloat.
Sure.
And it was, I loved it at Birmingham. I grew up with, Tony Coton, Pat Van Der Name, Mike Dennis, Noel Blake, Mick Hartford, Martin Cool. Some absolute nutcases.
Yeah.
But they were fantastic. They give me an upbringing that I couldn't have got anywhere else.
Yeah.
Because I used to train with them when I was 16, and they would kick the shit out of me. And I was 16. These are like fully grown men, and like Blakey was huge. And they would. If I didn't get that ball and give it away quick enough, I would get smashed. And it was a good upbringing for me. And it was like I said, they had to keep the club afloat. So
sure.
I remember John Lyle and Eddie Bailey coming down to St Andrews, and I went in the office with him, and he said, "Look, son," he said, "we've agreed a deal with Birmingham. It's a £300,000. We want you at West Ham." He said, "I'll give you £650 a week." He said, "And I'll give you £50 appearance, and you have 5 minutes to think about it." I went, 5 minutes? He went, "Yeah, that's all you need." So obviously, I went to ring my partner at the time. There wasn't obviously no mobile phones or anything like that. So I rang the house phone; it was engaged. So I went back in. I said, "I'd love to sign." He went, "Yeah, I know you would." And that was it. It was done that quick, and that was on the Tuesday. I went down on the Thursday to the train, and I remember John calling me in the office, and they were playing Man United on the Saturday, and he said, "Do you know you're suspended for Saturday's game?" I went, "Yeah." He went, "I fucking didn't." He said, "Because if I did, I wouldn't have signed you." So hopefully he was joking, but that was it. It was such a good club, good club back then. It was a family club. The manager done everything. He bought the players. He give them their basic salary. He told them what bonuses they were on. John done everything. Even like when I was at Birmingham and I signed my pro contract at Birmingham, the manager done everything. And John was incredible. When I signed for West Ham, he took me down the Ford garage. He took me down the Ford garage in his Jag. Windows were done up, chain smoking. Took me down the garage, and he took me in the office. He went, "This is our new son. He wants a discount." And that was it. He used to seriously. He used to take me, because I was staying in I think it was called the Bear in Epping, I think. And he used to take me back after training, because I didn't have a car. He used to take me back after training and drop me at the hotel. No, that would never happen now. No. But John was fantastic. The only thing was he was a chain smoker, and he kept his windows up. But he was. I didn't obviously spend a lot of time with him, but he was an incredible man. Incredible.
Yeah. And that's the thing. We've obviously interviewed lots of ex-players, and they speak so highly of John and his tactics to sign. And I think Tom McAllister, he basically gave him a blank contract. He went, "Go on, sign it. You trust me, don't you? I'll put down all the terms afterwards." He's like, "Oh, okay, yeah." And obviously Macca, he flew up to Glasgow to get Macca and stuff. No, he's an incredible man by the sounds of it. And as you said, And then from then on, it was sort of like, we had obviously John for so long, and then unfortunately, John got sacked that season you signed, and then obviously Lou came in, and then Billy came in after that very, very quickly, sort of a quick turnaround. What's it like as a player when a new manager comes in?
When you lose someone like John, it's not nice.
Yeah.
But managers come and go. You know what I mean? Sure. Like with John, it wasn't nice how they treated him. Then Lou come in, and his first words to me went, "You're a bit fat." I went, "You're a fucking midget." and that was my introduction to Lou. But with Lou, for me, he tried to change too many things. You know what I mean? The good thing about Lou, listen, he made me captain, he made me penalty taker, he made me free kick taker, he made me go up for corners. So quite clearly he knew what he was doing. But he was before his time. He tried to get people on to have like certain diets and things like that. And I remember Mark Ward, you weren't allowed a dessert. Mark Ward just went up, picked a dessert up and started eating it. And obviously Lou, you can't listen, if players do, you can't control them.
Yeah.
If players want to do things, they do things. Yeah. And we used to have like room service, and I used to drink Coke. So I ordered like 2 pints of Coke. They never come to my room. So I rang reception. I said, like, "Where's my Coke?" Yeah, I ordered it. They went, "Your manager stopped it." So I went, "Listen," I said, "Please just bring me two pints of Coke, and I'll sort the manager out." So they brought 2 pints of Coke. But like I said, with Lou, he wanted to play long ball.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's not West Ham. So at the end of the day, he said, "Right, this is what we're going to do." So we just played our own game anyway. You know what I mean? When you got people like Alan Devonshire and people like that in the teams, and people like, you know what I mean? You just play football. Then obviously Lou got sacked for certain reasons. Then obviously Billy took over. I didn't always see eye to eye with Billy as a manager. But I have the utmost respect for Billy as a person and as a manager, and certainly as a player. Because for me, he typifies what a footballer should be. 100%. Run through brick walls for his team. And that was Billy. I mean, he was a fitness fanatic, which I didn't like, but we had our run-ins about that. But I mean, utmost respect for Billy. As much as like what respect I got for John, I've got for Bill as well.
Of course, and that's the thing. I mean, as you said, it was like, for having John so long in the associated with West Ham, then this sort of quick succession, it must have been disruptive for the players as well, because it was like, a lot of people, obviously people signed before you have been like old school, and then Lou came in and obviously changed it, and then Billy. But one thing I want to ask, it's a bit early, is when like pre-match you never came out for a warm-up, did you?
No.
Why was that?
I just never warmed up. I was lucky enough that I could, doesn't matter what day it was, like boiling hot day, freezing cold day, I didn't need to warm up. I can come out and ping a ball 60, 70 yards. I didn't need to warm up. And I remember when Harry became manager, he said, "Look, you've got to warm up." I went, "I can." He went, "You've got to." So I went, "Okay." So I went to warm up, and I come back in. I went, "I've done my hamstring." He went, "What do you mean?" I went, "You made me warm up. I've done my hamstring." I hadn't.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I hadn't. But I said, "Listen, I don't warm up. That's it." I sit in the bath. I used to sit in a hot bath with 2 cans of Coke, a Mars bar, and with my football boots on, and that was it.
Oh dear. And that's the thing, we've interviewed people like Mad Dog, and he said that, and I was like, "Oh well, I'll get it out of the man's mouth rather than
that's what I used to do.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. And it's one of those things. I mean, obviously when Bill came in, obviously again we went up and went down. We were a bit of a yo-yo club that time. But obviously that 92-93 season wasn't, obviously, Bill took the captaincy of a few sort of red cards and stuff. But that was my first season. And you scored the first goal I've ever seen at the Bowling. Oxford United 5-3. You scored one of your Julian goals. Like a ping.
I scored 2 that day.
You scored 2 that day. I know you did, because Oxford scored after about after about 2 minutes, I think it was. It was like, oh, so exciting. Do you, as a player, obviously 65 goals you scored, for West Ham. Do you remember all your goals? Do you remember all of them?
No. I remember certain ones because my daughter's on Twitter and things like that, and obviously like people post certain goals and things like that. There's goals that I don't remember. I remember the special ones like beating Tottenham 4-3, scoring 2. I remember them. Remember obviously my penalty against Man United. But I remember a lot of them, but I don't remember more.
No, I suppose nowadays, you said with Twitter, with Jess and stuff, and like retweeting them, you sort of relive them again. You go, that was a good one. Yeah, that was.
And to be honest, I love looking at the old football and the old pitches. You know what I mean? Your socks rolled down to your ankles, and the pitches were like mud baths and stuff like that, and the tackles and the fighting and things like that. I love watching things like that.
Well, that's the thing. We said, obviously the first time you were sent off was at Wimbledon game in the cup, weren't it? And when we had Mad Dog, that's his favourite ever game he played at West Ham, and it's because of that brawl and then your tackle on Dennis Wise. That's why he said it. Do you have like a favourite game in those 326 games?
No, not really. I mean, I remember beating Tottenham 1-0.
Yeah.
At Tottenham. I mean, I think it was Slav's first game. I think it was his debut, Slav. And I think Darney scored. Danny or Darney, whatever you call him. The ugly kid, that's the one.
He's dog ugly, weren't he, man? Yeah.
I mean, I went to volley it, and he got his head there, and that, and we beat Tottenham 1-0, which is for West Ham, it's a great result. And then we beat them 4-3 at home. Then we drew with Man U 2-2. I mean, we're 2-0 down within like 25 minutes. So we're thinking, fuck, we're going to get battered here.
Yeah.
Because I mean, they had like Cantona, Scholes, Giggs, Beckham, Keane. I mean, they were such a good team, such good players. And obviously, then Harry brought Redichoya on, who scored a great goal. Then we got a penalty. So certain games stand out more than others.
Yeah. And when it comes to penalties, obviously, I think you only missed 4 at West Ham in 39 or something like that. And obviously, we'd had Ray before at Tonka, and he would hit it hard, and you would hit it hard. Why don't people do that anymore now in the modern game? They try and dink it.
I used to try to place mine, and I missed one, and I said to myself, I'm never going to do that again. So that's why I always hit them as hard as I could, because for me, if you're a professional footballer, you should not miss the target from 12 yards. All right, you can hit the post, you can hit the crossbar, but you should never miss the whole target.
Yeah.
And I believed in my ability that I had, that I could hit it as hard as I could and still hit the target.
Yeah.
I remember we had one against Sheffield United that hit the crossbar and bounced just before the halfway line, and they got a corner from it. I remember Alvin telling me that not so long ago. But yeah, that was my mindset. I could hit it as hard as I could and get it on target. Then the keeper has to make one hell of a save or just jump in front of the ball. Yeah. So that was it.
Yeah. Or as you said, like the Man United game where Schmeichel got a hand and it still bent back. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's one of those things, isn't it? Like you see it now. Obviously, when we played Fulham the other day, and Lookman dinked it in the last. It's like, oh God.
Oh yeah, that's
what a shame! What a shame!
Yeah,
what a shame!
Embarrassing.
Yeah, it is embarrassing. It is embarrassing. But then, obviously, for some people who don't necessarily know the story, and obviously then Harry came in, and then eventually you went to Liverpool, and then Harry brought you back very, 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 very quickly afterwards.
Yeah.
How did that happen? Because I remember literally I see it on the back of the newspaper, and I was like, "What? He's coming back? He's coming home."
Yeah, but to be fair, I didn't want. No disrespect. I didn't want to go to Liverpool.
Yeah, sure.
I mean, don't get me wrong; they're one of the biggest clubs in the world. I didn't want to go. I was happy at West Ham.
Yeah.
But then I thought, well, because Harry said to me, "Look, if you want to go to Liverpool, I can get you a move." So I'm thinking, obviously, something's not right. So. That was my mindset. That obviously you want me to go, so I thought not a problem. So I went and met Graham Souness, who I love to bits. I met him, and for me, he's another one that goes with John and Bill. Mate, he was an incredible person, incredible person. Black was black, white was white. There's no grey areas.
Yeah.
That is it. So as soon as I met him, I went, yeah, I want to sign. And I signed for Liverpool. Didn't have the best of times there. I had a couple of injuries in things like that. And obviously Graham resigned and Roy Evans took over. We didn't really see eye to eye, which happens. I mean, I'm not that naive, but which happens. And I remember playing against Everton in a reserve game, and TC was playing for Everton. He went, I'm going back to West Ham next week. I went, you lucky bastard. I went, then I think it must have been about a month later, Jamie said, listen, my dad wants you back at West Ham. I went, that's it. But I remember Roy Evans calling me in. He went, Birmingham want you on loan. I went, listen, I'm 25 years old. I don't want to go on loan. I just want to be settled, play football. Yeah. He called me in again. He went, Tottenham want you. I went, fuck off. He went, no, I'm serious. I went, so am I, fuck off. So, and walked out. Then he called me in, like I said, a month or two later, and he said, Harry wants you at West Ham. I went, no, but I'm gone. Yeah. I'm gone. And that was it. So it seemed to take like the months and months and months, but I think it took about 6 weeks in the end, but it seemed to go on forever. And it was, for me, it was just coming home. Yeah. It was just coming home. And like I said, I played for Liverpool against West Ham at Upton Park. We won 2-1. I also played in Bobby Moore's memorial match. And I was still at Liverpool. And every interview I do, and they ask me about Upton Park, it's just, I played for Birmingham against West Ham at Upton Park. And it's the horriblest place in the world to play football. Honestly, mate, it's horrible. Yeah. But when you play for West Ham and they like you, it's the best place in the world. Best place in the world.
Yeah.
It's incredible. Yeah. It is an incredible place. Well, it was an incredible place. I went back about a year ago, and obviously it's flats and things like that. So for me, it is heart-wrenching, to be honest, looking at the place now. Because I had 11 years there, and they were fantastic.
Exactly. And but as you said, it's when you said you came back and stuff like that. I mean, how many? I was interviewing a guy the other day, and his mum used to give him a clip round the ear because basically he wanted to be like you. So for Christmas or birthdays, he'd get the West Ham shirt. The first thing he'd do is rip the collar. What was it about his collars, Julian? What was it about his collars?
To be fair, I've got quite a big neck. I mean, I've got a 17.5-inch neck. And they were quite tight on me. So the first lot, they were just like round. So I used to cut it. Yeah. And Eddie Gillam, our kit man, it wasn't the case like it is now. You get 2 shirts every game. Yeah. That shirt, you had a long sleeve and a short sleeve, had to last you. So I used to cut it. Next week it'd be sewn up. So I would cut it again. It's only because it was so tight. Yeah. Then we have one with buttons on. Yes. If you're trying to chest the ball, you got me just whacking like a button into your chest. So I used to cut them off. Again, Eddie Gillam didn't like it, so next week they would be sewn back on. So that was it. It felt restricting. Yeah. So that's why I used to cut it. So
yeah. Countless mums were twatting their kids behind the ear because they'd rip their shirts off to be like Julian. And then obviously, then obviously, as you said, Tottenham, and then injuries and stuff like that, and then obviously you finished playing. Was it 98-99 season? The following year, you had that testimonial where it all kicked off. The Bilbao game, I remember that very well. It couldn't be a Julian Dicks testimonial without a bit of.
No, and the thing is, I didn't want to play Tottenham. Not like, listen, no disrespect to Tottenham, but every West Ham player was playing Tottenham, and I thought I just want something different. So Atletico Bilbao, they were over here at the time, and my agent at the time, Rachel, got in contact with them, and I had to pay them 35 grand to play in a testimonial. And I remember people going, how can you charge so much for tickets, blah, 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 which I understand.
Yeah.
But they charged me 35 grand to play them. And I thought, I want it because it's different.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's different. So obviously it happened and it all kicked off. And what happened. And I remember Paolo coming in. And I was sat there on my own. He come in, he went, Julian, I'm sorry. He said, I've been sent off. I went, fucking brilliant. I love it. I love it. It's brilliant. So he was, to be fair, he was gutted that he got sent off. But I was happy. So, and it was my testimonial.
I love it. Then obviously the playing career stopped, and then obviously management. Then West Ham Women's in 2014. That must have been a nice surprise when that job was offered.
By Slav, you mean?
No, before when you was at West Ham Women's.
The ladies,
The ladies,
the thing is, the ladies they were nothing to do with West Ham. They had the name and things like they wore the kit and things like that. But West Ham didn't supply them with anything.
No.
Obviously, but when I come in, a few things changed. We used the training ground and we got bits and bobs from West Ham and things like that. And I loved it. It was really good. I'm not sure they like me that much because to me, football's football.
Yeah.
You have to be fit enough to play. Whether you're a woman, whether you're a man, whether you're a child, you have to be fit enough to play football. And before me, it was a bit of a jolly up.
Yeah.
So I've gone in and I've let them have it a few times, verbally. So a few people left. Few players left and things like that, but the ones that stayed there, it was good. It was good.
Yeah.
I mean, we got to a cup final. We finished sixth.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it because I used to say to them, like, "You're running tonight." They go, "Well, how far?" It wasn't a case of, "Oh, for fuck, bollocks, shit."
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It was how far, and that was it. I mean, they everything I said that I want them to do, they tried to do.
Yeah.
So it proves it because I think the year before they finished one from bottom.
They did, yeah.
But we finished sixth and we got to a cup final. All right, we got battered in the cup final, but we got
to a cup final. Yeah, exactly.
And it was good. I really enjoyed it.
And then as we said, alluded, then obviously the call came from Mr. Bilic to join the first team coaching staff.
Yeah. I mean, I was Slav's room partner when he came.
Okay,
we were room partners. He used to make me coffee, but we used to smoke. We used to drink. Like on a Friday night, we used to smoke and drink in our room and things like that. And I got on really well with Slav. And I mean, when I got the call, his agent rang me and said, "Listen, Slav's got the West Ham job. He wants you there." I said, "I'm walking now."
Yeah.
I said, "I'm walking now." So, and it was, I mean, again, like obviously coming back from Liverpool, like I said, was coming home, but going back as a coach, didn't have the same feeling. Sure. I'm not going to sit here and lie to people, but it didn't have the same feeling. It's the next best thing.
Yeah.
I mean, nothing comes close to playing football. No. Nothing in this world comes close to playing football. No. But it is the next best thing. And like I said, first season we done superb. And
it seemed that season the stars aligned. You know, we had Bilic, we had yourself, and the last season at the Bowling, it was the perfect send off, to be honest.
It was. It's like I said, it's you're moving from a ground that's iconic.
Yeah.
So what happens is you get one of the biggest teams in the world.
Yeah.
And you beat them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you beat Man United 3-2. Whatever people think about Man United, they're one of the biggest clubs in the world.
Sure. Yeah.
And they come to Upton Park, obviously wanting to spoil the party. Yeah. But the day, I mean, we left the hotel, and usually it takes about 15 minutes. It took about 45 minutes to get there. Yeah. We couldn't even get in the car park. We had to jump off the coach and walk. It was incredible, incredible day.
I can imagine. I mean, yeah. I mean, I remember that game so well because I was on jury service that week, and I wasn't on court. I was one of the jurors, and yeah, I think our court day was like it was pushed to the afternoon, so I drove up there really early, parked down Barking Road, and just had my pass and just walked round. There was no one there, and it was just like such a privilege. I actually had a wee in the changing room, just to say I didn't have a poo. I didn't have a poo. I had a wee. I was respectful. Should have had a dump in the Man United one, but no, yeah, it was just as you said, it was a fitting. It doesn't usually happen for West Ham where things work out. Do you know what I mean? It's always like, but that game, as you said, it was the perfect send off to that, and obviously
it was incredible.
And the fact that that we had to delay everything and we had to put the fireworks at the beginning because we were Man United, couldn't we? Delayed everything. It was just all West Ham. It's just such a West Ham the whole day and the whole evening. But we had Jeff from the Cockney Rejects, and he was almost electrocuted because it was pissing it down, wasn't it, as well? So, I love it. It was brilliant, man.
But they wanted me to get out the taxi.
I know they did.
I went, fuck that.
I know they did. I didn't want to ask. I didn't ask, but I know they did because I was part of that crew.
I went, no.
I was part of that.
You have to. I went, I don't have to do anything.
No. You didn't get out of the taxi. Billy turned around because he was worried about his family in the taxi. So we had these 2 spare taxis, like this poor guy's on the meter and everything, it's like no Uber drivers, proper black cab ones. But yeah, no, it was a fitting tribute to the
incredible.
Round. Yeah, it was lovely. And obviously you took the team to the new stadium as well. I mean, that must have been just strange, different. Yeah, I can understand. Yeah.
It was. I mean, listen. All I've ever known in West Ham is Upton Park.
Sure. Yeah.
I said on here, it is. I can't explain in words how good Upton Park is as a West Ham player.
Sure.
To go out there and the fans. I mean, I just can't. I can't put it into words. So the day, obviously, when we beat Man United, it was great. It was a fantastic day, but we knew that was it. We're never going to play like a professional game. Now, obviously, we have Mark's testimonial, but we're never going to play another professional game there. And it was heartbreaking.
Yeah,
it was heartbreaking, and it still is. Like I said, I went there not so long ago, and it's flats.
Yeah,
it's horrible.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I know what you mean. And it's as you said, it's. For the unfortunately, your daughter, for example, will only know West Ham play at the London Stadium, same as my daughter and stuff like that. And it's one of those things where it's a shame that it's flats because it would have been nice to still had some, a little bit like Highbury, where they still have the sort of the shell and stuff like that. But it's happened now, isn't it? It's changed, isn't it? Yeah. It's changed. You spoke about obviously all the great players you played with, and obviously we do this Miami's 11. And that's, to be honest, people love you, Julian, but I think they probably skip a few because they like to find out about the players that you played with. That's what they like to do. And I said every ex-player. The only people who haven't is Harry Redknapp because he started chatting about Harry Redknapp stuff. About the old days with Moro and stuff, and Bobby Ferguson, as you can imagine, and stuff like that. And Bish didn't do an 11 because he didn't want to piss anyone off. As you can imagine with Bish, that's just him. Right, so we try and do a 4-4-2, Joe, but you can change it. You can,
4-4-2 is good with me.
Nice and good. Okay, right. So who's going to be in goal for the Dicks 11?
I mean, for me, that was a tough one. It was either Phil Parkes or Ludo. I mean, I played more games with Ludo, and Ludo was an incredible goalkeeper.
Yeah,
I remember we were in a pub. And Ludo's English wasn't great.
No.
So I said to him, tell the man, fuck off. He went, oh, fuck off. And, but Ludo's like 6'6".
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And he was, but I mean, that was such a difficult one. For me, Phil Parkes just beats Ludo.
Yeah.
Because Phil was a great goalkeeper. But even in training, you're playing 5-a-side, you couldn't score against him.
No.
You know what I mean? It's just like,
sure.
And that's why you always want to be on his side. Because we used to play for a £5 at the time, and like whoever won would give all the money to like security man on the gate and things like that. So we always used to play one on Parks' side. So if we did, then we were guaranteed not to pay out.
Brilliant,
Phil just does it for me.
Yeah, and obviously he shares the same birthday as you.
Yeah. Yeah, lucky man.
He turned 70, and obviously you turned 52. Whatever. He turned 70, didn't he? So yeah, fair play. Right, okay, let's go. The back four. Who is going to be left? And you can pick yourself, Julian.
Oh, I am. Listen,
of course you can.
It's myself.
Yeah, yourself.
Myself, captain, penalty taker, everything.
Do you know what we had? Gailey did Reg did exactly the same thing. He was like, I'm going to put myself first team coach, reserve team coach, physio, chef, and captain.
Football players are arrogant. You know what I mean? So,
they are,
but I mean, for me, I was always going to be left back. So but for me, left centre back would be Rio.
Yeah, sure.
Rio was obviously as a young kid, learning his way and things like that. But he was a player that was very confident even at a young age, very confident in his ability and things like that. And rightly so. Listen, he was a good player. But I remember we played Everton once, a big dunk, just smashed them all over the place.
Yeah.
And after that, I think he probably thought, hang on a minute, like this is like proper. So, but he like his career was fantastic. But at West Ham, he was a great kid, and he was such a good player for West Ham. So for me, that it goes with Rio.
When you're training and these youngsters, obviously we had that relatively golden period of young youth. When they start turning up and playing in the first team, like training, can you spot a good one? Oh, he's not going to do it.
Yeah, of course you can. Yeah. But to be fair, at West Ham at the time, if you trained with the first team, then you were good.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And no disrespect to the other lads, there wasn't many that would train on a regular basis.
Sure.
With the first team, you might need someone to make the numbers up, and they might go, "Oh yeah, you come over here."
Yeah.
But obviously, you had Rio, you had Frank, you had Joe Cole. You know, I mean, you had some proper players there. So for me, Rio, you could tell Rio was going to be a good player.
Yeah. Okay. Right, we'll put Rolls Royce Rio in. Okay. Who's going to be the right centre back then?
Alvin.
Yeah.
Alvin Martin's going to be my other centre back. Alvin was, again, he was very confident on the ball. I remember speaking to him, and he said when I first started playing, he said like the fans used to abuse me and things like that. And he said I didn't really think I was going to make it in stuff. But for me, like when I played with Al was, like I say, he was another one. For me, he was a Rolls Royce. Yeah. He was very confident on the ball. He would chuck his body in front of the ball. He would make last ditch tackles and things like that. And he was a proper captain. Yeah. You know what I mean? He would let you have it if you needed to. Whether that was in the dressing room, whether that was out on the pitch, whether that was in the pub, wherever, you know what I mean? He was one of them. So, I mean, for me, Alvin, all day long.
Yeah, top man. Okay, right back. Who are we going for right back then, George?
Ray Stewart. Yeah. But he didn't take penalties. So, but Ray was a very good player. Again, obviously, because he's in the 11. He had a great right foot. He could ping balls 50, 60 yards. He was athletic. He was fit. He was aggressive. Yeah. Well, he was Scottish, so he was aggressive. Yeah. So for me, it was like, obviously I didn't play many games with Ray, but what I seen was a very good, very, very good player.
Yeah, definitely. Right, okay. We'll put Tonks in, but you're on penalties. I'm just making a note. Just in case there's any sort of like Frank Lampard, Di Canio, sort of like in Bradford City fighting over the ball. So we're just making a note now, so save any arguments later on. Okay, let's go into midfield. Left midfield, left wing. Who are we gonna have, mate?
For me, Alan Devonshire.
Yeah.
I mean, Dev was, I can say, incredible.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? When I went there, he was struggling with his knees.
Yes.
But he was still. I mean, when I do Q&As, I always go like, I never used to like playing with Dev because when I ever give him the ball, he'd never give me the thing fucking back. You know what I mean? He would just beat people for fun. You know what I mean? Just for fun. And he always wore molds. The pitches we used to play on were awful, but he always wore molded boots because his feet, but his balance was so good. He'd come off, he would be spotless.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He would be spotless, but like for his ability, and for his dribbling, he was Yeah, I mean, for me, left midfield, incredible player. Considering he only cost $5,000, I think, from a non-league team.
You can't get a second-hand Fiesta for that now, can you?
Exactly.
Really?
I mean, he was unbelievable, and I didn't play in his best times.
No.
You know, I mean, I was playing towards the end of his career, and he was still incredible.
Yeah. And I think you mentioned about the pitches. Obviously, we played when we had Stockport the other day. You know that the pitches were a little bit sodden, and I was like, come on, you saw, I remember we had Macca, and Macca maybe watched the 4-0 when they beat Chelsea and on the Stamford Bridge sandpit, and it's like, come on, these guys don't know that they're too spoiled, aren't they, with all these nice pitches and a bit of rain.
They are. I mean, at the end of the day, it would have been great. I mean, I remember playing at Old Trafford, and right down the middle was just mud.
Yeah.
So you have to get the balls out on the wing to go anywhere.
But
like I said, nowadays it's, I wouldn't say they're sport, but the pitches are magnificent. I mean, some of the pitches, like the boys play on now, like Brighton and things like that. Unbelievable pitches.
They are.
They are. Just imagine how Dev.
That's what I mean. Could you imagine?
It would be.
Yeah. But same way, I wouldn't mind, because obviously we had Barama was couldn't do any of his flicks. I'd love to see like a Messi or a Ronaldo on that bog of a pitch at Old Trafford and see how good they are on that pitch. You know what I mean? Vice versa, because I don't think they'd be able to cope, to be honest. But anyway, we'll put Dev in. Lovely bloke. Right, let's go right wing. Let's go the other side. Who we have on the right wing?
Mark Ward.
Wardy.
One, because he's an aggressive little fucker. And like I said, I mean, he had a superb right foot on him.
Yeah.
Great right foot on him. He was aggressive. He didn't matter who you were. He would stand up to you, and he would have a scrap with you and things like that. So, and he was a great player. So for me, Wardy, with Ray up and down the lines, all day
beautiful
long.
Stuff. Beautiful stuff. And so you got a Scott and a Scouser on the wing. There we go. That's asking for trouble. Right, central midfield. Who's going to be the first centre midfielder then, Julian?
I've got Billy Bonds.
Yeah.
I don't think there's a West Ham team without Billy in it, to be honest. Yep. If there is, I don't know why. As I said to you earlier, for me, he typifies, from my point of view, what a footballer should be.
Sure.
Yeah, he 100% every single game. Run through brick walls. I mean, stand up for his teammates if it all kicks off. And that's what Billy was. Listen, for me, he didn't have the best ability, but he made up through his heart, his passion, his pride, his love of West Ham. I mean, for me, I didn't play many games with Bill, obviously, but I see him train, and I played a few games with him, and he'd probably be my all-time player at West Ham. If I had to pick one player who I went, I want this player, it would be Billy, because of how he was.
And similar to Bill, obviously, Bill never played for England, and yourself never made it, got a full cap as well. It's something about, and Parks, he didn't get as much as he should have. It's something about West Ham in there, Jules. There's something about West Ham, man, and England.
Well, yeah.
Anyway, it's because you had a bald head, wasn't it? That was what it was. Is that true? That story? Is that true?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. I know he denies it, but it's true.
Because you haven't got nowadays, you could do you could record it on your phone, innit? But that's mental. That's mental. Oh dear. Anyway, Bonzo's in. Who's going to be the next midfielder?
Liam Brady.
Brady, nice shout.
So obviously with Billy, with all his aggressiveness and things like, you got Liam, who's very cultured, great left foot. So Billy could do his tackling for him, do his running for him, which he would be more than capable of. But Liam, I mean, Liam was just an outstanding footballer, unbelievable. I mean, every time that I played with him, he never used to sprint anywhere, but he always had 5 or 6 yards around him, so he could just control the ball and do what he wanted. So I mean, like I said, for Bill, it was a bit of a warrior. For Liam, obviously, for his cultured left foot and his ability.
Yeah, fantastic, nice pairing. And it's funny, even before then, obviously you got your Bonzo and obviously Brooking, and very similar. You said to way people describe Trevor Brooking as a player, always have time on the ball, would never be the quickest player, and Bill would be his enforcer. And so
but I do Q&As with Bill and Trev, and Trev does say that. He said I never used to tackle. He said, but Billy used to look after me. So
I love it. So sweet.
Yeah, it's brilliant. Yeah.
So sweet. Right, okay, up front, who's gonna be your first striker then, Julian?
TC.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Just because obviously he's just an out-and-out goal scorer.
Mm.
That was it. I mean, his finishing was superb. Didn't work particularly hard, but as long as he's scoring goals, you don't mind. Yeah. You know what I mean? So for me, TC, I mean, like I said, I've got people like John Hartson. I think John was like a magnificent player.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, absolute superb player. But for me, TC would be there because obviously his goals that he scores, the tap-ins, I don't care if they're from 6 yards, 7 yards, 8 yards, 9 yards. I don't care as long as you score goals, and that's what TC used to do.
He did, yeah.
That's what
and
TC
sort of
used to do.
and the role TC, that sort of fox in the box type striker. Don't seem to get that in the modern game anymore now, do we? It's all forwards and
I mean, the only one that you maybe go is Aguero.
Yeah,
I mean, but he scores. I mean, don't get me wrong, he scores fantastic goals, and so did TC. TC scores some goals from outside the box. But yeah, I mean, if I was going to pick a player to score goals, it will be TC.
Yeah. And who's the last piece of this Dicks pie?
His partner, McAvenny.
Yeah.
I mean, I love Frank. I mean, I still speak to Frank. For me, Frank used to work his nuts off.
Yeah.
I mean, as a striker, he used to chase the right back, run past TC, chase the left back. But he used to work his socks off, and he used to like a drink and stuff. It's, you know what I mean? It's back then. It was. We used to go out. We used to like socialise and things like that. But Frank was a good player. He was aggressive. One again, he was Scottish. He was aggressive. So yeah, I mean, he's obviously scored many goals as well, Frank. So, but for them two as a pairing,
special.
For me, it'd be them two. So
special pairing. And you're right. It's like that sort of era. So we've spoken to lots of the players from that era, such as and that sort of team bond togetherness, going out for a drink. I mean, even we've had people like Trev on here and Sinks and the Tuesday clubs and stuff like that. It's there's a real sense of camaraderie, it seems, in for across all those generations in those teams, and obviously they can't do it now. They can't do it. Obviously they can't do it now. Literally can't do it now. But so before all the restrictions, that sort of team bonding, it seems something lost in the modern game.
Yeah, but they can do it if they want to.
Yeah.
But they choose not to.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's not. No one says they can't go out and have a drink.
Yeah.
I mean, we weren't allowed out on a Thursday or a Friday, like if we're playing on a Saturday. I only done it once.
You're on it, yeah.
But you have to go out. You have to bond. But the thing is, football's changed now.
Yeah.
Like you said, we used to have a speaker in the dressing room, and the players used to listen. We didn't used to have headphones. You know what I mean? Didn't used to have mobile phones where they could listen to their music. So we had one speaker, and that was it. That was our music. But now
who would usually pick the music? Who's the DJ here?
Well, I mean, at the time I was into Guns N' Roses, but players used to put on what they wanted. You know what I mean? It wasn't the case. But like I say, players have their headphones and they sit there and in their little cocoon and things like that, and they listen to what they want to listen to.
Gotcha.
But it's just like I said, like an hour before kickoff, it was good to be in the dressing room. I mean, the music was blaring and things like you have a laugh and a joke and things like that. It was for me. It was good times. Yeah. I mean, I thoroughly enjoyed my 11 years at West Ham. Obviously, the best of my footballing career, 11 years.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it at Liverpool. Didn't really work out, but loved it at Birmingham. But my 11 years at West Ham was...
It happens. I think it happens at certain, not very often, but occasionally when a player and a club just work, and the fan and you and West Ham and the West Ham fan base just worked. It was this.
Yeah, I remember making my debut away was against Sheffield Wednesday.
Yeah,
and I got man of the match from their sponsors. Okay, we got beat. I got man of the match from their sponsors. Then we played. My home debut was against Everton, and I remember elbowing Trevor Stevens, and the fans going mad.
Yeah,
and that was it. From that day, that was it.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, for left back isn't a particularly glamorous position, but yourself, as you said, it might have been
but I wasn't a left back when I was at Birmingham. I was like an inside left, which was like a number 10.
Yeah.
And at the time, we only had one other left back, was Brian Roberts, who used to play for Coventry. And the next game we were playing was against Man City, and the manager at the time, I think it might have been Keith Leonard, might have been the interim manager. He said, "Who wants to play left back?" And I went, "Yeah, go on, I'll play left back." And I played left back, and I stayed there. That was it. I stayed there ever since.
Yeah.
And for me, if you're going from striker or midfield backwards, is easier because everything opens up for you. But once you go from like maybe a defender to a midfield player, maybe to a striker, is a bit more difficult. But like I said, I had a good left foot. I could play football and things like that. So I loved it. I mean, it's probably it happened. Things happen for a reason.
Yeah, totally. I get it.
You know what I mean? Things happen for a reason. And I'm glad it did. I'm glad it did, because if I would maybe been in like number 10, things might have been different. Maybe I wouldn't have been at West Ham.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I wouldn't have signed for West Ham because they wouldn't have wanted me as a number 10. They wanted me as a left back. So, like I said, everything happens for a reason.
It does, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I
truly believe that.
It's those sort of sliding doors moments in people's lives, isn't it? And that as you said, going, I'll go left back. That then, a 14-year career, 11 years at West Ham, 320 odd game. It's funny, isn't it? If you didn't be out at that day, who knows what would have happened?
No, exactly. That's like I said, that things happen for a reason. So.
That's all good. Julian, man, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much for chatting.
You're welcome.
I've thoroughly enjoyed it. As I said before, as I said, you're one of my 11, so I've got, that's two knocked off. I've got a few more to go on those, but thank you so much. And obviously, everyone would love it. Thank you so much. And obviously, everyone who's watching or listening, I hope you enjoyed it. As I said, I'm a little bit awestruck. I'll be honest, Julian, a little bit awestruck. What's it like actually knowing the fact you must know that there's loads of people who like idolize you as a player? Is it weird? Is it weird?
No, it's not. Well, I suppose it is in a way, but there's also a load of people that fucking hate you. You know what I mean?
One hand giveth, the other taketh away. Yeah.
Yeah, but that's the thing. And I remember when I had my pub in Langham, Sheffield Dog in Langham. We used supporters used to come in, like they might be playing Ipswich, they might be playing Norwich. We'd have Tottenham supporters come in, we'd have Chelsea supporters come in, Charlton or things. And they go, hey, when you played for us, he went, I hated you. And you go, yeah, but I understand that. They said, but I would love you to play for my team. Yeah. Which to me is like a massive compliment. Yeah. Massive compliment. But for every person that likes you, there's also someone that dislikes you. But
I love it.
Like I said, football is what happens.
It is. It's a game of opinions, isn't it? It's a game of opinions, man. Yeah. But anyway, thank you so much for your time. Thank you everybody for watching. From me, Russ, take care. Oh, I can't. I'm a bit. To be honest, I'm a bit sort of. Woo! I've just spoken to Julian Dicks. Anyway, take care, everyone. Stay safe. Wash those hands. And for me and Julian, much love. Come on, you irons. And we'll see you again very, very soon. Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye. Much love.